Hello and welcome back. This is another seventh grade math video. And in this video, we're going to be multiplying and dividing integers. So this video is kind of a mix. I've done a multiplying integers video and a dividing integers video. And this is the video where we're going to mix it up between the two. Okay, here is our first example. We're going to be doing 8 times -2. So before we start, let's go ahead and kind of go over the rules for multiplying and dividing integers, which are the same for both operations. So if you have two numbers that have the same sign, if that's two positive numbers or two negative numbers, your answer is going to be positive. If you have two numbers with different signs, where one is negative and one is positive, and it could be the other way around, where the first one's negative and the second one's positive, your answer is going to be negative. So we kind of like to do this in two parts. First, we figure out what sign we're going to use, or what sign the answer is going to be, and then we do the calculations. So in this one, 8 times -2, we have two numbers that have different signs. 8 is positive and 2 is negative. So what we're going to do is determine that that is going to give us a negative answer. So we're going to go ahead and put a negative sign there. Then the second part of this is that I'm going to go ahead and do the calculation. So 8 times 2 is 16. So the answer to this is going to be -16. Okay, so here's our next one. We're going to do -9 times -9. So first step is to determine whether the answer is going to be positive or negative. Both of these numbers are negative, so they have the same sign, which means we're going to get a positive answer. So I'm going to go ahead and put a plus there so I know that I've thought about that already. Now, the second part of this is I'm going to go ahead and do the calculations. So 9 times 9 is 81. So the answer is going to be a positive 81 or just 81. Okay, so here's our next one. We're going to take -11 and divide it by -1. So first, we're going to determine whether the answer is going to be positive or negative. So since they both have the same sign, they're both negative numbers, that means the answer is going to be positive. So I'm going to go ahead and put a positive sign there, just so I know that I've already thought about this. The second step is to do the calculation. So I'm going to go ahead and take 11 and divide it by 1. Any number divided by 1 is that number itself. So that's going to have to be 11. So the answer to this would be positive 11 or just 11. Okay, so here is our next one. We're going to do -8 times 1. So again, we're going to first decide if the answer is going to be positive or negative, and then we're going to write that down. Since 8 is negative and 1 is positive, that means they have different signs. So that means we're going to have a negative answer. So I'm going to go ahead and put a negative sign there. Second part of this would be to do the calculation. So 8 times 1 is 8. So that means my final answer to this would be -8. Okay, here is our last example for today's video. We're going to take -540 and divide it by -90. So first, let's look and decide what kind of answer we're going to get. We have two negative numbers, so those are the same sign, which means our answer is going to be positive. So I'm going to go ahead and put a plus for positive. Now I need to do the calculation. So I need to take 540 and divide it by 90. Now I'm going to use a trick for this for dividing numbers ending with zeros. And if you want to see me use more examples with this trick, then go ahead and check out some previous videos I've done on dividing numbers ending in zeros. I can cut the same number of zeros off of the end of both numbers, as long as it's the same for both numbers. So if I cut 1 0 off here, I can cut 1 0 off of this one. What that leaves me with is 54 divided by 9, which equals 6. So I'm going to go ahead and put that here. So our answer is going to be +6 or just 6. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you in another video very soon.